Hi, it's Jill from Jilly Bean Studio. Welcome to the channel where I share art journaling and junk journaling, projects, and ideas. In today's video, I thought it would be fun to share 3 styles of altered books that I enjoy for junk journaling or art journaling. Yeah, so this is a bit of a sampler of different ways that you can set up an altered book. So this first one is keep all the pages in. Now in this style, you don't want to bulk it up too much. So art tissue paper is great. Stenciling, ink, just rolling paint on the pages, anything to kind of keep the bulk down. And it's also awesome for a glue book if you're doing collage. So this kind of art journal, I think I'm going to use some of the jelly prints and maybe a little bit of doodling, things like that, collage. And don't overlook some simple things like the feel of the book in your hands. I don't know, it may sound obvious or not, but I really do. I think my art journals, I like when I choose an altered book, a certain size or texture of the cover. And so this little one, I'm really excited to work in. I think it's going to be my March journal coming up, and I'm going to work in it more in collage and sort of doodle style, I think, so that the book remains pretty flat. Yeah, so this is a sweet little one, just excess paint, little bit of gesso, matte medium, and you're good to go. The next kind is the kind of altered book where you remove sets of pages. And there are so many ways to do this, and there are so many YouTube videos to give you the techniques. I tend to like to either glue or tape the text pages in sets of maybe 5 to 8, depending on the book. I also do pay attention to a sewn or glued binding, and I tend to prefer the sewn binding. And then you really have to do your math to figure out how many pages you want your book. In this one, I took out about 50 pages. So probably, I think maybe I had about 7 pages in a set. And they make these cute little paper canvases all ready for you to go so that you don't have a blank page. I do tape the ends. I was using the medical tape, which I don't overly recommend because it is sticky. You do have to make sure you paint it up so that it gets the tackiness away from that. But I happen to have it on my art desk, so I did use it this time. This is one of those style books where I remove pages, although given the bulk of this chunky art/junk journal, I guess, is it's one of the first ones I ever did, and I just threw everything in the kitchen sink in it. I loved it. I still love it. I put in Zentangle art, mixed media, lettering, and even though I did remove a lot of pages, it ended up being very chunky. So I have really worn the spine down, but I love it. And again, you have to experiment. You have to figure out what works for you. And it gives you, I think, a little idea of how wonderful these books are to work in terms of doing whatever it is that you love. And then I actually have to share my very first junk journal ever. It was when I discovered junk journaling. The first person that really kind of took me on this journey is the wonderful Joey DeFee. And I saw her working with books, and I thought, what is it? What is it that she's doing? So this was my very first attempt at a junk journal. I knew it was going to be interactive and have a lot of playful papers and some of my artwork and different experiments, and I think I'm still the same way. Some memory keeping with my junk journals to this very day. But again, this was even pre-Jelly Bean Studio. And of course, kind of that time in 2020 when we all had some time at home. So I really enjoyed working in this one. Again, for me, almost anything goes. It is sort of a kitchen sink journal, but I thought I would share that. And I really do love that one. Number 1. And now another one. I started this one last year with the 100-day project. And this one is a little bit different in that it's really using paper hinges or sort of a sandwich method. So in this kind, if you decide to try this, it's really fun to play with actually the images in, say, a picture book like this one, and add mixed media paper into these little pockets or half torn pages. So what I did was tear the pages down part way and then sandwich in between 2 pages, just glue them in different mixed media papers. So I've done some doodling here, a little mixed media, and then recently I was playing with these metallic paints a little bit. So this is a really fun one that still has a lot more to go. And I did a watercolor style wash and went in with my micron and just started to doodle different shapes. So more to come in this one for sure. It's just such a pretty book to begin with. So I hope this little bit of a sampler gives you some ideas about what you can do, some examples of altered books. Mine definitely run to the more art side of the mixed media side, to very junk journal-y and, everything in between. But I really do love working in an altered book, and I encourage you to check out some of the tutorials. I have more process videos about me working in them, and I can link those below. But there's just a whole bunch, just like junk journaling in general, there's a whole lot of different ways that you can approach setting up your altered book. So I hope these little examples help you, and I would love to know what you are working in, if you've worked in an altered book before, what you enjoy, if there's a particular style or setup that you really like. So I'm going to go in for the last little part of the video today with a couple simple techniques. This first one is simply stenciling, and I think it's one of the easiest ways to break the blank page and start a background in your altered book. And I love the soft patina already on the older book page. Another fun thing to do when you have a big picture book like this that you want to keep in some of the illustrations is to play off the colors in the illustrations, and that's what I really enjoyed doing here. All of those greens and rich tones, the golds. Also, having a good rock from one of your favorite beaches is a great way to hold down your art journal pages. I'm going to go in with one of my favorite white pens. This is the Uniball Signo Gel Pen. It's not too successful today, though, in terms of helping me outline this flower and adding some details, because I think I put a little of that metallic paint that I showed earlier, and it looks like it's kind of resisting it slightly. So in a minute or two, I'm going to go in. Yeah, see, it's not coming out so great. I'm going to go in with a different color gel pen. I think this kind of journal is so wonderful to do doodles in. They're big pages, and again, getting inspiration from the book illustrations themselves and playing off those colors is kind of just it's almost like an art prompt in itself. Like the princess there with the little window over the top kind of really inspired me to play with those colors in this journal. So I hope these ideas helped. I hope just seeing a little sampler of altered books that I enjoy gave you some ideas, and I would love to know your ideas also for working in altered books. I think this March I am going to use one altered book for my creative junk journal, art journal, so I'm looking forward to that, and also adding more to the this doodle book on the right. I love sharing some oldies but goodies. I'm going to try to avoid the gator mouth though. I'm getting better at that. And I look forward to sharing more with you. So happy art journaling and junk journaling to you. I really appreciate you being here, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.